Oh, crazy
Okay,
countries.
we're
So
live.
that's it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Azure and AI Show. With me this evening from Lagos, Nigeria, is Victoria, and we have Joseph there as well. Joseph is having some connection issues, so hopefully he might be able to join us. Um, and you got myself, Frank Falvey, here from Cork in Ireland, and I'm going to do some stuff on the AI 900 for the first half of the show, and maybe do Copilot for M365 Copilot. So that's kind of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and we'll see how we get on. So the first half will be kind of carrying on with the AI 900. It'll be kind of doing the image processing part of it, facial recognition, that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to share my screen there. And 2 seconds. So can you see my screen there, Victoria? Victoria, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen. Yes.
Okay, so I just need to go back here to so I started off the AI 900, which is the Azure AI fundamentals, 2 weeks ago, and I covered the first part. So the first part was the overview of the fundamentals. So you can see there's 3 hours and 6 minutes. This is if you go on Microsoft Learn and look up the Azure AI fundamentals, and you can see the whole course on there. But I'm going to cover the second part here, and we'll see how long we'll get through it. Some of it might look a bit kind of scary, but hopefully we'll get through it. And if somebody is going to do the exam for the AI 900, if you sign up to Microsoft Learn, they actually have free practice test to take here. And it's actually very good. I used it myself to practice before I took the exam. And if you get 8 or 900, they say you should be ready to take the exam. So you can take as many practice exams as you want inside here. So that's it. And it says here your exam takes 45 minutes. When I went to sit the exam, it gave me 65 minutes. So they probably need to update this. So if I just get back to my PowerPoint, and we'll start this one from the beginning. So I'm just going to carry on with the second part, which is the AI fundamentals computer vision part. And just going to the next one, a second. So if you have any questions, Victoria, just give me a shout, and I'll be happy to answer them.
All right.
So, okay, so after completing this kind of module, like you'll understand the capabilities of Azure AI Vision. And the second part, identify the different services included in Azure AI Vision, and describe the face detection service. So just on to the next. So this is how they kind of use the images and image processing. The gray image consists of an array of pixels values from 0 up to 255, as you can see in the screen. So color picture consists of 3 arrays called channels, each containing pixel values for red, green, and blue. Most images processing involves application filters, which consists of kernels that define an array and of weighted values, right? So that's how they kind of use them. So the filter kernel is convolved. It passes across and down over the image, calculating the value for a new array by using weighted sum of the original pixel values multiplied by the corresponding kernel weight. So it just calculates all the different numbers and their positions. That the new array represents the filtered image, usually with some kind of visual effects. In this case, a filter name, Laplace filter, is being used to highlight the edge of a shape in the original image. So that's kind of only just to show you what it actually kind of is like. You know, these are the filters that they use to kind of scan through the image. So that's how they actually work. This the next one here, the next slide here, right? Convoluted neural networks. Okay, it looks kind of fairly daunting now, like, but don't let it frighten you. This sort of stuff doesn't really come up in the exam. So as I go along, I kind of will give you kind of a hint whether, you know, this stuff is going to be in the exam. But the thing about the image processing and the numbers and the zeros, I didn't see any of that, or in the practice exams it wasn't there. So one of the most common machine learning model architectures for computer vision is the convoluted neural network, and they use kind of CNN or CNNs for short. They use filters to extract numerical features, maps from images, and then they feed the features into deep learning models to generate labels. So you'll see a lot of kind of stuff around labels and features got to do with the imaging side of things. For example, an image classification scenario, right? The label represents the main subject of the image. In other words, what is the image of, right? Like you see in the thing there, an apple, a banana, you know, stuff like that. So that would be a label. So you might train the CNN model with images of different kinds of fruit, like you can see there in the picture, such as an apple, banana, or an orange. So the label can predict the type of fruit given in the image. So during the training process for the CNN, the filter kernel is initially defined using randomly generated weighted values. Then as the training process progresses, the model predictions are evaluated, known as labels, values, and the filter weights are adjusted to improve the accuracy. Eventually, the trained fruit image classification model used to filter weights that are best extracted features that help identify different kinds of fruit. So the following diagrams there, how a CNN for an image classification model works. number one, image with known labels, for example, 0, apple, 1, banana, 2, orange, are fed into the network to train the model. And 2, one or more layers of filter. Yeah, Joseph, we can hear you there.
I'm sorry, Frank. Have you changed your screen, or you're still on the convolutional neural network?
Yeah, I'm still on that one. Yeah.
Oh.
I'll just check there to see if Joseph is trying to get in there with us. 1 second.
Okay.
Now. Go back to StreamYard. Joseph, can you hear us? Yeah, you're on mute there now, Joseph. Can you hear us, Joseph? I just see you're actually on mute. I'd say he's still having problems there with it.
Yeah.
But I'll just go back here. I'm nearly finished with this slide. So the features of the map are they're flattened into single dimensional arrays of featured values called feature maps. The feature maps are flattened into single dimensional arrays called feature values. Feature values are fed into fully connected neural networks, and the output of the layer of the neural network uses softmax or similar functions to produce the results of the contained in the probability value of each possibility class. For example, 0.2, 0.5, or 0.3. So is it an apple? Is it an orange? So we'll just move on to the next one. And so that's multimodal models. So you see in the picture there classifications and object detection. So that's all kind of used to detect different stuff there, right? So Microsoft fluorescent models, which is used for image analysis 4.0 capabilities in Azure AI Vision. Sounds a bit complicated, but it's not too bad, okay? Is a multimodal model, right? Trained with huge volumes of captured images from the internet. So they drag in all these images off the internet and they use to train them. It involves both language encoders and image encoders. Florence is an example of a fundamental or foundational model. In other words, a pre-trained general model on which you can build multi-adaptive models from specialist tasks. For example, you can use Florence as a foundational model for adapting models to perform image classifications. Right, that's identify of which category the image belongs to. The object detection then is locating individual objects within an image, and then capturing is generating appropriate descriptions for images, and then you got tagging is compiling a list of relevant text tags for images. So that's kind of that slide. So the computer vision service in Azure, right, it has all these kind of things like image tagging captions for custom models and more. And then you got the optical character recognitions, which is OCR, probably a lot of people saw a lot of that got to do with scanners and stuff. If you're scanning documents and things like that, you will see that sort of stuff come up in the exam. They kind of use it in conjunction with, if you wanted to scan medical records from documents, so that's what they use that for. So there's a few other things then. We'll cover some of the key capabilities of these computer visions related service in the rest of the module. I won't be doing a whole lot of it today because I'm kind of doing half of it on AI 900 and the other half then on the Copilot demos there for M365, which a lot of people are kind of interested in today. So the image analysis 4.0 that I just spoke about there, the Azure AI Vision Image Analysis Service, right, can extract a wide variety of visual features from your images. For example, it can determine whether an image contains adult content, find specific brands or objects, or find human faces. You can use Azure AI Vision Studio on portal.vision.cognitive.azure.com. I know that sounds a lot now, but I'll post some of these things on the LinkedIn after the show, links to where you can actually get these, this stuff. And let's go there. So these are some of the capabilities, right? Model customization. You can read text from images. You can detect people in images. You can generate image captions and detect objects like we spoke of there, like apples, oranges, bananas, cars, trucks, you name it. You can tag visual features to easily recognize them. And smart crops, you know, you can crop images then, like, you know, that you use as you can see there in the picture, person, the person is male, it's got jeans, got footwear, so that sort of stuff, you know. So this is the kind of while the AI Vision Service provides some basic face detection and analysis features, the Face service offers additional capabilities. All users can use the Face service to detect. So you can see there how blurred the face is, which can be an indication on how likely a face is to be the main focus of the image. Exposure then, right? Acts such as underexposed or overexposed are applied to the face in an image, and not overall exposure. Glasses, if a person is wearing glasses, okay, that's kind of pops up a lot. Head pose, the face orientation in a 3D space. Noise refers to visual noise in an image. If it was taken a photo of high ISO settings, for darker settings, you would notice this noise in the image. It's not like noise like it's in sound. It would be kind of disruption in the picture. The image looks grainy or full of tiny dots, and they make the image less clear. Occlusion determines if any maybe objects blocking the face or the image. So that's kind of that stuff there. Just I'll pick up on the rest of it next week. But I just wanted to show people there if they wanted to use this kind of face service stuff. You can go on here to this, and I'll actually put the address into the chat, and I'll put it in the, so you can actually go on here and use all these kind of features. These are on Azure AI Visual Studio. So like you can see here now down in the bottom here, at the top actually, video retrieval and summary, right? So you can have a video and you can upload it to these things. You can, some of these you can try them out, as you can see there in the bottom, start the project. So these are all kind of on the site for that you can sign up. So if you want to sign up for this, I think you can try it for free for 12 months, or you can sign up and claim $200 just to try it out. So these are the features, and these are the other optical character recognitions. So the face, let me see, these are other ones here. You can try this one out, video retrieval. This is the face one, detect faces in images. So they'll allow you to try that one out. Liveness detection, it ensures the authenticity of a user by verifying that their face in front of the camera is real and currently present. So that's some interesting stuff. So we might cover some more of that going forward. So Joseph wasn't able to make it with us. So what I'm going to do, Victoria, I'm going to, because you're interested in the Copilot, we'll just.
But I have a question. I
Yeah.
have like 3 questions about what you just talked about, the Azure AI fundamentals. So the first question is actually what you just mentioned, the liveness detection. So I recently saw some AI tools that said you can have like a, what do I call it now? Like your duplicates that can represent you in meetings. So that means that, is it, can you incorporate it into meetings like Teams meetings in such a way that it can detect if the person is actually the real person there?
I'm not sure of that now, but I look, if we just go back to this thing here, right? Can you still see my screen there?
Yes, yes.
So this one says it ensures the authenticity of the user by verifying the face in front of the camera. So I presume they're using this thing. Now I'll click into it just to see, it wants me to sign into Azure to use it. But this one here, it does detect whether you are physically present and living individual. So it can detect it, all right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So on the other one here says face liveness and verification. So it detects liveness and verifies you are against an uploaded photo. So that's
Okay.
I might actually do a demo on this sometime.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah, very good. So look, while I have my screen, I am logged into my M365 account. But just before we actually kick that off there, right? I just want to show you this. Can you see that there?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is my account here. I signed up to this one, Microsoft 365 Personal.
Okay.
So that cost me 69 euros for the year. Okay. Like if you didn't want to spend out the 69 euros, it gives you an option to buy it at 7 euros a month.
Okay.
So the other part is, so you need this account anyway before you can get the Copilot. So then this one here, then right, for me to get the Copilot Pro. Okay, so you need Copilot Pro after you got your M365. Okay, so
Yes.
Microsoft are giving a free trial, so you can start a free trial.
Oh, for 1
So
month.
that could be good for you to try out without signing up, Victoria.
I will.
Okay, so is Copilot Pro available in Nigeria?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah, so you can start your free trial there if you didn't want to sign up to it. So you get a month free to play around with it, which is very good.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so I have this one open here now, right? So which one would you like to start with? Microsoft Word?
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint. Okay.
Yes.
So PowerPoint is one of my favorite ones. So I clicked into the PowerPoint, and you can see up here on the right-hand corner. Can you see that Copilot?
Yes.
Yeah.
Beside
So that
designer.
yeah. So if I click on that Copilot, then right,
Yes.
will generate a window on the right-hand side. Can you see that it's just starting here?
Mm-hmm.
So it just gives me two options. Well, these two buttons that I can, right? So it says, just 1 second there, I hear somebody trying to join us.
Okay.
Okay, Solomon, how are you?
Hi, Solomon.
So you're on mute. There you go.
Hi,
Solomon,
Frank. Hi, David.
how you doing?
Hi.
I think Joseph was having problems trying to connect tonight.
Oh,
Yeah. I think it was the internet issue, like, so
maybe
I
it's
was checking every now and again to see was he joining us.
great. So,
Okay.
what are you doing? Were you presenting something?
Yeah, I presented the AI 900 there for about 25 minutes. I done the computer vision, you know, the facial recognition and that, how they actually do it.
Great.
So now the second half of it, I was going to do some demos on Copilot. I can do a couple of minutes of it. Do you have something you want to do for us?
Yeah, I could just talk about the Azure role-based access control.
Okay, how long does that take, Solomon, about?
I don't really know, but I could make it very quick and short.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
I just started just a demo there on the Microsoft PowerPoint with Copilot.
Okay.
So I'll just finish off that there because Victoria is very interested in the M365 Copilot. So we'll do the PowerPoint one and we'll give you a few minutes then, Solomon, to do the role base, Azure role base, yeah?
Okay.
Perfect. So this is the PowerPoint, okay? And I opened up the Copilot on the right-hand side there. So it gives you two buttons at the minute. And it says, Copilot says, I can chat, respond to questions, and help you draft your presentation. Here are some things you can try. One is create a presentation or add a slide about something, okay? So down the bottom here, it gives you ask me anything about the presentation, okay? So you can create a presentation and then you can ask it to add more slides, or You can tell it to say, can you add more slides about this particular topic or something like that. So what sort of stuff do you do, Victoria? What would you be doing? Something with sales or marketing?
Writing.
We'd say, what sort of PowerPoint presentations would you be using for your work?
Okay, so I mostly write. I love to write about anything, content writing. So we can create a presentation about a sales, a pitch for a writing service.
So, right. So I'm going to click on the button, create a presentation about a pitch.
A pitch for a writing service.
See, a pitch for sales, is it?
Writing, yes, writing services.
A pitch for writing sales, is it?
Services.
No,
Okay.
services, yes.
1 second now. And right, if you're typing in anything there and you get the spelling wrong, Copilot nearly identifies it. So I'm going to say create a presentation about a pitch for writing sales services. Are we good with that?
Sales, we have sales.
Okay.
Yes,
so
it's fine.
Okay, so we can either hit the enter button or we can hit this button down here and it'll send.
Okay.
I'm going to send it, right? You'll see it's creating a pitch about writing sales things, okay? So sometimes at the start, when I started using Copilot, it used to give about 5 or 6 slides. And then as things got better, some topics. Okay, so it gave us 6 slides. See how quick that was? So this is the first one, a pitch for writing sales services, right? Boost your business with persuasive writing. Nice pitch because you have the pictures, okay? And can you see down the bottom here? It actually gives you speaker notes.
Yeah.
So it says, in this presentation, we will introduce our writing sales service and explain how they can benefit your business. So that looks kind of good enough for what we put in. We'll see what the second slide looks like. Okay, so this one, speaker's notes as well. So the speaker note says, our sales writing service are designed to help businesses communicate effectively with their target audience, and we'll start by introducing our company and then delve into the importance of sales writing and how we can help. So that all sounds good. Stuff on the screen looks good, but I suppose we'll just go on to the next slide. Like it is all about writing sales pitches. So introduction and company overview, right? So high quality content creation, right? We specialize in creating high quality content and effectively communicate message to our target audience. That looks good. So the speaker notes then is we are writing sales services. We are a writing services company, that specializes in creating high quality content. We have a team of experienced writers who are dedicated to helping businesses communicate effectively. Our strengths lie in our ability to understand our clients. We need and tailor our service to meet them. That sounds very good for what we're looking for. The next one we'll go on to, we just go through the slides and we'll just see. So this is highlight the importance of sales rating. Okay, so we won't read everything on it. So the speaker's note says sales rating is vital for businesses to communicate their message effectively to their target audience. Good writing can help build trust, establish credibility, and ultimately lead to increased sales and revenue. We will discuss the importance of sales writing and how it can impact your business. So, like, if you had to put all this together yourself, there's a lot of effort going to
Yes, actually.
it would, yeah. So, and it seems to put kind of, nice, big, catchy phrases in there. Like here, this slide, it says we offer a range of writing services that can help business create high quality content that resonates with their target audience. Our team of experienced writers can create persuasive sales copy, engaging blog posts, and informative white papers that will help your business stand out from the competition. We will explain how our service can benefit your business and help you achieve your goals. So that sounds pretty good to me for sales pitch. And the last one, then the last slide there. Okay, conclusion, effective sales writing and crucial for business looking for success in today's competitive market. Our writing service can help your business create high quality content. There's probably a little bit of overlap in some of the stuff we're talking about, but it's still all good. But one other thing there, I just want to show you, Victoria. Next to the Copilot up here on the top, there's Designer, Microsoft
Designer.
Designer. They've
Yeah.
incorporated that in. So if we go back to our first slide, okay, and I click on the Designer, it opens up the Designer window here, right? So you can see it gives you total difference. So if you want to make it look like that, or if you want to go back to the way it was earlier, it gives you a couple of different designs and looks pretty cool. So go down to the next one, Designer. So if you didn't want the picture on the left and you want it on the right, you can just click on that one, switches it over. So you just go back to Copilot. So you can, it's pretty effective. So if you had to create this presentation yourself, it could take you the best part of the day.
Time. Yes.
Yeah. So that's a kind of and we have the design done now, okay? So if you wanted to go back to Copilot and say, kind of look, add, maybe see, it's after asking, or like it's giving us more buttons up here. So it's giving you an option to summarize the presentation. So we can just click on that and summarize the presentation. Okay, so we just hit the button and then it's after generating summary of it. It's after breaking it down. We had 6 slides. It's after breaking it down into three areas. So you can do a lot of stuff with it. So any questions on that?
No, I don't have any questions. I would just love if you can share the slides with me. Thank you.
I will send them on to you on LinkedIn when we're finished.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, no problem. Solomon, do you want to share your screen with us?
Yes, I would just share my screen and I'll try as much as possible to see how I get to capture the most important information while I am presenting. So let me do this now.
Okay.
Because of time, I would. Um, yep. I guess you
Okay.
should be seeing
Yeah,
my
I
screen.
have your screen up there now. Yeah, we can see the Azure services.
Yeah. So earlier, what I wanted to discuss about basically was more about, comparing or talking about the Azure role-based access control, which
Yeah.
is RBAC, and the Entra ID roles. But because of time, I would just basically focus on the Azure roles, and then I would try to just do a demo, and so I would just wrap it up from there. And I think I might just as well do a video on YouTube that would cover like a lot more. So before I start, we all know if we register for an Azure tenant at first, and when we are signing up for Azure, we are probably creating an account, then we are also setting up a tenant, and we are also picking from one of the available subscription plan in Azure at first, right? So once we do that at first, we have resources now that we can actually, create in Azure. So basically, what I just want to explain today is just how do we control access to the different services or the resources, the cloud resources that we have in Azure. So that's basically what I will be discussing today. So when we are talking about this access, right? One thing we would also know is for us to control how we control access to these resources, right? Using the Azure role based access control, right? We need to understand something. And one thing we need to understand is we have to assign these roles. And if we're assigning these roles, we come to the idea where we talk about the role assignment, the elements of role assignment. Now, when we are talking of these elements of role assignment, basically we are talking about security principle as first of that's the first element. Now, what is the security principle? So the security principle itself, right, is basically objects like the user we have, right? We have groups, we have the service principle, and then we have the managed identity. So the managed identity, we can further, split it into the user assigned and system assigned when we are talking about the service principle. So we have the service principles, which we can assign these roles. And if we go to the next element, which is the role definition, so basically, we have these role definitions, and what basically the role definition is just a collection of permissions. So I was trying to explain this to someone when I was trying to explain the role definitions. I was talking about the set of permissions, which I would probably share on my screen. I will show you, or probably I can just, do that as I'm explaining. So let me just, so we have three elements. The first is the service principle I spoke about. The second is the role definition, and then we also have the scope. So I'll be talking about these three stuff while I'm, working on any resource. So I'm coming from the idea of the scope before we probably go to the role definition. So when we are dealing with the scope, right? When we want to assign this role to a particular or give access to maybe a security principle, right? We have to know at what point or where do we want to apply this particular role to. So if you look at Azure now, Azure basically have like an hierarchy from different levels, right? I know I've explained this earlier where we have the management group, and from the management group, which is this, you will see we have the subscription under the management group, and then we have the resource group, which subscription is basically your agreement with Microsoft. You're using resources, and then you have to pay for the resources you're building. Then we have the resource group that we can use to, manage these resources, and then we have the resources sitting inside the resource group. So when we want to assign permissions, right, or give access to the security principles, we can choose the scope. Are we going to be, applying this role on the resource level, or we want to apply it on the resource group, or the subscription, or the management group? So if we're looking at these roles, depending on what your use case is or what you want to achieve in your organization, you would decide on how you want to assign these particular roles. So if we come to this portal now, what I want to do is I can choose to say, okay, let me go to resource groups now. So I have different resource groups now. So if you look at this resource group, I can come to one of this resource group, which should be, let me see if I can find. So I just want to look for one. Let me just see if I can find. No name. Okay, let me just go from the, I'm going to go to this subscription, and then I will just, so if you can see the way I'm actually tracing the resource group, you can see I went to the subscription, and from the subscription I can decide to say, okay, let me check the resource groups under the subscription. So the same thing would apply if probably I'm assigning, giving access to a security principle on this resource. So you can see that I came from this place and I'm going down, but what you should notice is when I click on the subscription, I can see access control. That's the IAM, that's identity and access management. And if I say, okay, let me go further to the resource group, you can see I can see resource groups. So if I click on this resource group now, you would also see that I can see access control. And if I say, okay, let me go into one of the resources in the resource group, you would also see I can see access control. So when we are looking at the role assignment, right? Basically, we can assign these roles on different scope. And these are the scopes which we can assign the role depending on what we want them to access. So now that we know the scope, right? The next thing is the role definition. So I was trying to explain the role definition before I got to the portal. Basically, what the role definition is doing is just a collection of permissions. And when we have these permissions, right, we can now, group them together and have them as a particular role, which we can assign to any of the security principles. So if we come to this virtual machine, I have access control here. Now, I might have somebody working as a level 1 support engineer, and I do not want to make the person the owner or probably even the contributor for my subscription, because basically what I'm doing, I'm giving a lot of access to that support. That's the level 1 support engineer. He would be able to do virtually most of the things that I don't want him to do. But then I probably want that support engineer to manage this VM, right? Instead of giving permission to the support engineer at the subscription level or maybe the management group level, I can actually narrow it down to the particular virtual machine I need the support engineer to have access to. So why I'm saying this is, even if I probably say, oh, I want to give this person a, maybe the virtual machine contributor or whatsoever access I feel I want to give the person, if I give that same permission to the support engineer at the subscription or management level, that means every resources, like every virtual machine under that subscription, the support engineer will be able to manage it. So another way to help with assigning these roles, I have to, bring it down to the level where it has to do with just this virtual machine. And once I click on this now, this is the same thing you're going to see if you're clicking on the access control from the management group to the subscription to the resource group and to the resource itself where we are. So if you look at this now, I can choose then to add role assignment. So when I click on role assignment, we have the job function roles, and then we have the privilege administrator roles. So for this privilege administrator role, it is something you need to, really ask yourself if you want to, give this out to a user or any of the security principal. So, but for this, right, this should actually be like the best role for me to give to the level one support engineer that I want to give to. So what I can do is I can search for the virtual machine. I will just search for it, and then it's going to show me the different roles under the virtual machine. So if I look at the virtual machines now, you can see I have virtual machine contributor. And the good thing about this is if you go to Microsoft Doc, you don't really need to know everything that each of these roles they do, but they are the good thing is one, you can always go and read what they can do, and then you can create your own custom roles. So if you look at this role, it's already telling us what this role would do, what the person or the security principal that will be assigned this role can do. If I move this here, I have this view here. So if I click on this view here, then you would see the permissions which is under the action here. But then one better way, or I would say the way I prefer to view this most of the time, is coming to the JSON. So if I click on JSON, you're going to see it's going to show me everything here. But what I just want to point out now because of time is the action. So basically what the action does is actually just telling you all the action that the person that you're going to be assigning this role will be able to perform. So if you look at this now, you're going to see these are the action that this person can perform. But then if you come to not action, you will see there's nothing there. It simply means this is what the person will perform. Every other thing that is not listed here, the person that I'm assigning this role would not be able to perform it. So we have not action. I will go in there. Then we also have like supporting actions like the data action. Probably let me just go to somewhere else where I would explain those other ones better. So if I come back to this and I try to assign this role now, and then I'm clicking on the privilege administrator. Now you can see we have contributor and then we have owner. I'm going to click on the owner. Now the owner is actually a privilege role, and there's a lot of collections of permission that the owner is actually performing. So the question is, do we have to list all of them under the action? No. So if I click on the view, you're going to see here that under action, we have this wildcard, the asterisk. So basically what asterisk is actually saying there is that this person can perform all action. The owner can actually perform all action. So I was trying to explain this to while I was on the call last week during a training, and I was giving an example. I said, have you ever thought of, visiting an Airbnb where when you're going to the Airbnb, you have stuffs all labeled everywhere. They say, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Because you're the guest. They'll tell you this is what you cannot do, this is what you cannot do, this is what you cannot do. So for you, basically, you'll be like, okay, so every other thing, that means I can do it. But the owner of the house would probably not follow all of those rules because basically what the owner of the house can do is the owner of the house, he can do everything. You're the guest, you have stuffs you can do. Now let's look at the contributor role. So if you look at the contributor role, let's click on this. If you look at the JSON, you'll see the action for the contributor role is everything. And if, sorry, let me, I think someone is, did you hear the echo from my mic? Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Just give me a minute. Okay, so what I was saying is, for the contributor role, you will see that we have not action. So now looking at the contribution roles, the contributor can do everything. It's just like the guest in the Airbnb I was explaining. You can do anything you want, but then I have to list what you cannot do. And if you try to connect this with the virtual machine, you'll see that the action that the virtual machine contributor can actually perform were not that much. So it was actually easier for you to just list them without you having to write the not action. So basically, what this action is just saying is saying that, hey, this is what the person can perform, and not action is actually telling you, hey, this person cannot perform any of this action. And if we look at the role itself, basically they are just collections of permissions. For contributor role, you can do everything, but since we just have a few things you cannot do, then it's easier for us to just list it and then use the asterisks. Then if probably we don't want, people to have access to some particular data, we can as well add them here. And if we probably want to as well say, hey, what Microsoft have is, nice, but I think I want to pick off some stuffs from what they have and then, create mine. You still have the option to create your own custom roles. So because of time today, I'm just going to stop here. By next week, if I join the show, I'll probably just, try to, show us how we can go about with the custom roles. And then I would also assign this role to a test user, and then we'll see what the test user can do. And then I'll take off the roles and then try to see what the test user cannot do. And also something I also like to touch is also the entry ID. So we can as well see the roles we also have in the entry ID. So, but for today, I'm just going to stop here. And then tomorrow, next weekend, I will then go with, explaining further on the Azure role-based access control.
That's great, Solomon. Thanks for joining us. And
Thank you.
I love it every week when I get an MVP on to join us. It's great.
Yeah.
I was saying there, 1 week we had 3 MVPs on.
Nice.
You had yourself, Paul, and Dan on. So that's great. So listen, everybody, I know you have your learning show again in a minute or two, Solomon. So
yeah.
And Victoria, you got those slides. If you need any more, give me a shout. We'll be here next week with more stuff on AI 900, the fundamentals, and Paul is going to do some Copilot stuff for us. If he can't make it, I'll continue. And if you have more questions, Victoria, join us. And Solomon, you'll do some more role-based access control stuff for us. So thanks, everybody. Bye.
Yeah, take care.
Bye.
Bye.